This is it, boys. Comes a time in a man's life where you gotta let him go live his own life, so. Welcome to the last episode of Practical Female Psychology. What are we on now? Chapter 19, episode 20. It's been a long road, and I really hope if you haven't gotten the book yet, get the book, read the book, go through the book when we talk about this, and for the love of God, go experience it. Go observe and try this stuff out for yourself. Pick the small stuff, pick the boundary enforcement, pick the shifts in mental models, and then when you see things start to work, add more. If it doesn't work for you, stop doing it, but I've yet to see a guy who hasn't made his life significantly better by learning this stuff and applying this stuff. So you know which one you got to do, but let's get into it. It ends off on a small but kind of profound chapter. Male qualities that are attractive to women. They talk about the qualities, they talk about the dominance and social status, and then some practical advice. So let's get into it. Now it's time to take a look at ourselves as men. By the way, I normally hate when people do that. It's always got a weird condescending tone to it, but whatever. These guys get the benefit of the doubt. It's one thing to understand what motivates women and what gets them sexually aroused. It's quite another to actually be a man who is sexually appealing to women. So let's take a good, long look in the mirror and find what we can improve ourselves on as men who love women deeply. Again, not all women, but the women you're interested in. Let them earn the right for appreciation. And this is like the one thing where Red Pill kind of deviates from this kind of stuff here. Treat women like people. And yeah, that's gonna look like misogyny to a lot of people. Like if you've been complimented your whole life, being treated like a normal person probably does look like misogyny, but that's okay. If people want to be treated better, they can earn it just like every other individual. That's about as close as you're gonna see a red-pilled guy talk about men and women being equal. I treat everybody the same, and unless you give me a reason to think of you nicer than a stranger, I'm not going to treat you nicer than a stranger. So keep that in mind when we're talking about this stuff. First part is looks. And good looks can, in fact, hinder your success with women. A good-looking, handsome, dapper man is expected to be an expert. Now, such a man lacking these qualities suffers under the label of women. Such a man lacking them becomes creepy. Now, this is due to a phenomenon called congruence. A man who looks like he's good with women should be good with women. This is a situation that worsens with age. Really good-looking young guys can get away with quite a bit, especially with older women who find such naive incongruence to be cute or charming. Furthermore, without very careful calibration, women who cannot match you in looks may very well refuse your advances, feeling that it's all a good-looking guy would want is just easy sex. Thus, whether you look like a male model or not, you need game to consistently get what you want. I'm going to put a pause there because I think it's absolutely hilarious. What's the standard critique? If a guy is celibate and he's trying to get something and he can't and he just says whatever, the standard advice is for him to lower his standards. And a lot of people say that. Oh, just lower your standards. You can get any woman whatsoever. Just lower your standards. It doesn't work that way. What guys find when they lower their standards, slump buster aside, is that when they date or they try to date a girl who's, just using some terms here, a lot lower than them in attractiveness, the girl automatically puts up that ASD that we talked about before. Why is that guy trying to hit on me? I am completely out of his league, so he must just want me for a quick pump and dump. She doesn't know what's in your head. She doesn't know that psychology to it, and this is why a lot of guys are like, I don't care how unattractive a girl is. She still will wait for her Prince Charming, and she won't put up with me. I'm just ugly and looks max and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's not that, man. You actually may, to her eyes, look objectively more attractive than her, but while girls have a hypergamous instinct, it only goes so far. Once you get too far, it's like nobody likes a free lunch. If I offered you a brand new free Ferrari, your first instinct, and I don't care how much you say you'll take it, your first instinct is, what is he trying to do here? Is the car stolen? What do you want? Are you going to leave me in an ice bath and take out a kidney? It's like not trusting. In fact, I'd argue this too. If a girl offers like straight up sex without having any input on your side, a guy's first instinct is generally suspicion. Is she gonna rob me out back? Especially if you're in the third world. Like, I've had friends who did that. They got in the third world, some girl was just all over him. Their first thought, is this a hooker? And then the second thought is, I'm gonna get robbed? My boss actually did get robbed, but that's a story for another time. Alpha attributes. Impudence is the most telltale trait of the alpha male. That, the ability to raise a finger, saluting the absurdity of life, and facing the consequences with a smile or smirk. Not being scared of the world is a damn superpower for a man. And it's so weird too. It's like, what do you mean, just not caring? It's like, yeah, there's a reason Rollo has his article about Alpha Buddha, that Corey Worthington guy, the guy who trashed his parents' place, got on the national news, and was just unapologetic for the whole thing. Remember, girls are a neurotic mess, more often than not. They are terrified of the world around them. And it's nothing to do with like patriarchy or whatever. They're just kind of hardwired that way because the cave women that did that tended to have more cave babies and outbred the confident, I don't need no man cave women that got eaten by tigers writ large. So it's just one of those things. And in the same way that a guy sees a girl with like a great set of knockers and super charming personality that can twirl around the room without a care in the world and think, damn, that's attractive. It's because it's things you don't have in your own life. In that same way, a girl watching a guy get absolutely dunked on in life and can take it with a smile says two things. One, that is a great stalwart to my neuroticism. He would actually be a great man to keep me from panicking over everything. Mouse in the house, kill the spider, that kind of stuff. I get it. This is limbic brain stuff. This is not like a conscious conversation they're having, but it plays out this way. So understand it however you want. And then the second thing is, well, anybody who can shrug off something like that clearly has an abundance. If you get fired from your job and you're like, I'll get another one. That tells her right there, this guy has saved up enough that he doesn't have to worry about things. So yeah, that's a good thing to hitch my horse on to as well. Again, it's all limbic brain thinking, but that aloofness is a very attractive quality, and there's a very, very simple reason why. It's because that guy has what I lacked, and it's in my best interest to be attracted to that guy. So the limbic brain starts throwing in dopamine, doing what it has to do, or as a girl would say it, we just have chemistry. Just turns out not giving a fuck is pretty good chemistry. Sexual confidence is another one. And I love this because I've talked before about, and I think it was like in the earlier chapters where Jeffrey Miller's The Mating Mind treat everything as if it's a sexual signal. In this case, sexual confidence is another reason why being a confident male is attractive to women, because it demonstrates you have competence. Women don't just want to have sex. They can get sex anywhere, at any time. They have abundance to a level that you never will. What they do want, and what they crave, is great sex with a good man. And then the only thing they crave more than that, and this is a quote from my book, is making sure their friends don't think they do. So we are confident about the things we know we are good at. Therefore, when we display confidence, we are sending a powerful message to the woman. We know what we're doing, and we know how to blow her mind, and that's instantly attractive to a woman. Again, it's very, very easy to explain this to a guy in terms he understands. Let's say you're out playing football with your buddies, or you're in baseball in a beer league, and then all of a sudden somebody who's actually a professional baseball player comes up. Instantly, you guys think, oh, this is awesome. Whoever gets him on his team is going to win, and everybody gets kind of excited. Or there's always that one Chad who's just really powerful. He used to play football in college, and he's going to be on your pickup games, like we're taking him. Is it any wonder that in the same way we look at that confidence and that competence as like an energetic thing platonically, that a girl can see that same way sexually? Like, if a guy is willing to wear a sports ball player name on the back of his shirt that he's wearing, guaranteed a girl is willing to have a guy hanging off of her that's super duper cringe words, whatever. The next part is leader of men, protector of women. And I'm using this one specifically because almost every guy who uses it screws it up so bad. It's like that saying, if you have to call yourself alpha, then you ain't it. When you demonstrate that you understand the potential danger a woman faces if she acts out sexually, and that you're a man she can shield from those consequences, you're naturally going to be attractive to her. Most women are not impressed by a man who finds himself in bar fights or other necessary altercations. But she will want to know that she is safe with you and you're not afraid to act when you have to. Now, it's important to recognize that rushing to her defense is rarely necessary. A man who doesn't understand the subtle point is going to create the opposite effect with women in which he attends. What's that? I want to say it's like the art of war. The battle needs to be won before you even fire your first shot. So yeah, a guy who can beat the crap out of everybody is great, but a guy that doesn't even have to is much better. And They get to the point on this one too, where she talks about like, what's a threat for a girl nowadays? They aren't worried about physical altercations. I mean, some places are. Maybe you live in Portland. And yeah, being able to knock out 3 or 4 Antifa guys coming after you is an important quality and super attractive. That's great. But I've been telling you before for the anti-slut defense section, sometimes a girl's reputation is really the only threat that a girl has nowadays. And so just showing that you have discretion is seen as the leader of men and protector of women. Yeah, that sucks. That doesn't mean I have to fight a bear for her. Yeah, no. What can I say? We've made the modern world so easy that just being socially savvy is about as much of a protector as you need to be. But if you want to get your Glock, new ammo, new scope for your rifle, fill your boots. There's always the chance that the zombies can come over the hill and you're going to need it. And in that case, it'll definitely make you more attractive to women. I will say though, that's probably seducing women during the zombie apocalypse is probably the least of your worries. So, you know, maybe you got some better use of your time. Dominance and social status. I like how this part gets its own section too, but we'll start with the quote anyway. Male sexual dominance, a complex form of behavioral responses from a man meant to lead the woman and her emotions into sex. Male sexual dominance is actually an important precondition for a woman to become aroused. Cocky, funny attitudes, popularized by David D'Angelo, is a pattern of behavior that constitutes sexual dynamics over the girl without the need for physical dominance. Be attractive, don't be unattractive. It's weird how the whole last section was like this very giant, expansive, like subchapter, and then this, an even bigger section here, could be summed up with just that. Just be sexually dominant. I guess the one thing I could add to it is, from a red pill perspective, the way this is kind of advanced over time, and this is going to be quoting some Ian Ironwood here. It's traditionally in relationships, economic dominance is how we establish male dominance in the relationship. We're already presupposing that male-dominated relationships tend to be the ones with the most happiness and highest longevity, which arguably, no, I don't even think it's arguable anymore. It's pretty much true. But women earn money now. Women have careers. Women can do everything a man can do. Fill your boots. So what does the red pill man do? We're talking about dominance and social status, but if a girl can run a CEO spot in a company, what chance do you have? Well, if the game's not working for you, flip over the board. Abandon economic dominance as the way to create dominance within a relationship. This is where status, sexual confidence, social savviness. I often say if you're going to drive male provision to the point of a commodity, well then just do what marketers do. And what do marketers do? They make branding. That's why a little bit of sugar, some water, and some food coloring is just like 5 cents of materials on the open market, but people will pay $3 for a Coke. Something to keep in mind. You want to be a Coke. Better yet, a Louis Vuitton. Charles Bukowski. Jordan Peterson. Neil Strauss. I like these guys. Add some salt to cover up the bitterness of middle-aged soccer moms and put in the oven for 45 minutes. Optionally, you can take from all this stuff what you want and leave the rest. And they end off, final chapter, with practical advice. So this is a huge chunk of pieces here. And I wanted to give it its full due, but that's what these last 20 episodes were. So I'm just going to cup a few of the important parts out of there and give them to you. So warning, women will test you, and they will test you hard. Never ends, and don't take it personally. Remember, this is the seduction dance. You can't put a ring on it and get away from female nature. You can't find the right level of commitment to female nature and then it all goes away. This is just something that happens, and you'll see a lot of unattractive or fully celibate men arguing that life's not fair. Why do women get to do this? Why are they always testing? Why can't they just be comfortable? Essentially, why can't women be men? Well, it's like, if you want to date a man, I got an option for you, but you're probably not going to like it. Again, Atlas did not ask for a lighter load, but wider shoulders. So think about that. And as you get attractive, you hear, like Rollo has a great quote on this all the time where they say, are you still going to game your wife after 23 years? He goes, I don't have to game her. I am the game. And that's kind of where you want to go with this. In fact, it's exactly where you want to go. It's to the point where this stuff isn't conscious effort. You don't have to think about anti-slut defense. You don't have to think about last minute resistance. You don't have to think about being attractive or not being unattractive. You've essentially created the mental models in your life. You've internalized the mental models to the point that Any situation you're thrown up, any what if situation you see in the comments, well, what do I do if this and this and this? You intuitively know. And that's the beauty of mental models. Again, a great example, the what would Jesus do mental model. A guy may not know everything about the Bible. He may not have followed 3,000 years of Catholic scripture and intellectual pursuit of these things, but what would Jesus do? You put him in a situation he's never been in before, he defaults to that. Okay, so show compassion, turn the other cheek, all those various things. We're trying to do the what would Jesus do, except for with Chad. What would Chad do? And if you eventually internalize that well enough, what would I do? That's where you want to be with this. So, carrying on, some of the ways in which the authors of this book maintain attraction with our mates are regular social interaction with men who are attractive to women. Uncalibrated and unattractive men induce the risk of socially awkward situations and won't help you to mature into a more attractive man. Clear demonstration of physical leadership in our daily lives. We are living each of our lives in a manner congruent with our beliefs, with gusto and without apology. And regular social interaction with other attractive females. Women are social creatures and will derive emotional satisfaction from being with a man capable of being with a variety of women. 3 things to take away from all this. 1, avoid the unhappy and the unlucky, just like they said. If a guy is bad with women, and this is a big reason they tell you don't try to red pill your friends, and you might end up losing your friends, especially if they don't want to come with you on this journey to become more attractive and sexually successful. If a guy is socially awkward, if a guy is unattractive, and if a guy refuses to get better, he is only going to drag you down. Now, I'm not saying get laid and then ditch all your friends. What I am saying is if a guy is going to be an anchor in your life, he has shown you how little he values your relationship, and you need to act accordingly. Again, it's no different than holding on to a dead, dying bedroom when you could clearly do better, and she's shown she doesn't care. Same with guys. The physical leadership thing, what he's talking about there is congruence. This isn't parlor tricks. This isn't magical little steps. This isn't a little bit of alpha you can sprinkle on your relationship and then go back to doing whatever dumb shit you were doing before. This is a fundamental change in the way you approach the relationships between men and women. You're ditching all of that gender studies nonsense. You're ditching all of the blank slate equalism. You're strictly focused on a positive outcome. And that's keeping people who are valuable in your life, being valuable to those around you, and not putting up with anything that gets in the way of that. That's frame in a nutshell. Anything outside that is amusing, intriguing, or funny. And then finally, catch and release. Talk to women. Oh, I would never talk to women. I'm married right now. It's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. You don't get to just accidentally have sex just happen. Guy doesn't get that luxury. A girl can, because all she has to do is not say no and go with the flow and things will happen. That's the way it works for them. They get to be reactive that way. For you, it is impossible to accidentally sleep with a woman unless you truly want to and make it past a dozen decision gates where you could easily stop the interaction. Well, you just fail that last minute resistance. Well, you don't Kino escalate. Well, maybe I'm just not going to kiss her right now and keep the conversation going. Well, maybe I can just say, I got a girlfriend, thank you, but no thank you. Maybe I can just not take my pants off. Very, very easy for a guy not to have sex. Girls give you every opportunity for it. But having said that, being scared of women because you're worried that you might do something that you don't have control over is just horrible. It's like, whatever, be attractive, flirt with other women, be great with other women. You have your boundaries, you and your girl have kind of established those earlier on, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine, nothing but, don't stick anything into anything that's wet. Okay, fine, no kissing, no sex, I can live with that. Here's the thing though. She knows what she got into. If she's dating you, you were a naturally flirtatious guy, and you were naturally, sexually selective, and you weren't judgmental, you're still going to be that same guy because that's the guy she was attracted to. All you're doing is saying she gets first crack at it and she gets sole custody insofar as she provides value to you. And that's the comfort that the girl knows. In her way, it's like, I know how to deal with this man. Just make him happy, and then he will make me happy, and then everybody's happy. Yeah, he's going to go out and flirt, and that girl's probably going to try and rub my face in it, but then I'm going to take him home and get the last laugh. Don't be afraid to be a sexual person. You're not a monster, you're in control of your actions, and you will do everything that you want to do. So if you think you're going to do something that you don't want to do, well, then there's an underlying problem you need to address. But after having said all that, enjoy yourselves. Please go out and apply this. If you have not read the book yet, go read it. It's a good read. It'll supplement. I've talked about maybe 15% of all the material that's in there. There's a lot of follow-up stuff. There's a lot of follow-up books. There's a lot of things you can do in it. And for the love of God, don't just LARP and talk about how much you've read this stuff. Apply it in your life. I guarantee you, if you apply this properly in your life, you have the self-awareness to see when you make mistakes and fix them, you are going to notice your sex life, your dating life, your relationships with women, women's relationship with you, and your relationship with other guys is going to improve insurmountably. But it's all under your control, which means you might pass, you might fail. It's all up to you. Anyways, go get him, Tiger. I'll catch you guys later. Cheers.